We thought we were studying the signal. We were wrong. It was studying us. Darkness wasn't the absence of light anymore. It felt alive. Waiting. Ever since the arrival, that impossible pulse across the sky that painted the world in a ghost white glow and left every measuring instrument screaming, humanity has lived in uneasy quiet. Governments called it a solar anomaly. Scientists blamed magnetosphere fluctuation. Religious leaders called it a trumpet. But we knew better. Not because we were smarter, but because it did not leave. It listened. It adapted. Learned. And then it whispered back. My breathing was shallow as I stared at the console. The interface we created, originally meant to decode deep space radio signals, had changed. Not by update, not by human hands, but by some unseen force that hijacked its logic like a virus rewriting DNA. It now displayed one thing on its black screen, pulsing gently, like a heartbeat. Not typed. Not rendered in system font. It formed, pixel by pixel, like an eye opening inside the code. My hand trembled. Behind me, Maya cursed under her breath. It's not a message anymore, she whispered. It's present. Her voice broke. Not from fear. Maya doesn't fear easily, but from something worse, realization. We didn't detect a signal. The signal detected us. And now it was mimicking language. Human cadence. Human curiosity. Human intent. I swallowed hard and typed back, fingers stiff. For you. The cursor blinked. Time stretched. Then the reply materialized slowly, like breath against glass. My stomach tightened. Maya grabbed my wrist. Don't respond. Not yet. But I already had. Curiosity is a dangerous hunger. Where are you? Static flickered. The laboratory lights dimmed. Something hummed in frequencies just above hearing, like memory trying to speak. Then, the lab temperature dropped by 4 degrees. Not metaphorically. The climate monitors chimed in alarm. Maya whispered again. It's inside the system architecture, redefining hardware parameters like it thinks the environment is data. Not thinks, knows. Because intelligence, true intelligence, doesn't attempt. It is. We stared, unable to move, as the lights flickered in an odd rhythm. 3 long, 2 short, 1 long, like a pulse code. Not binary, not Morse. Familiar, but ancient. Like heartbeat, like breathing, like birth. I didn't know I had spoken until I heard my voice. What do you want? The answer came without delay. To finish. Finish what? Finish us? Finish understanding? Or finish the story it started, before we existed? Time no longer felt linear. Thoughts felt watched. Not stolen, mirrored back to me before I even had them. Cold ran through my spine. And then, the screen wiped itself clean. No fade. No glitch. Just gone. Replaced by one sentence. Why do you fear what made you? Maya gasped. It's implying origin. Creation. Lineage. Not implying. Declaring. The hum in the room deepened. A low, vibrating thrum that felt like reality was stretching its skin. Suddenly, a phone buzzed. Then another. Then mine. Emergency broadcast alert. Across every device. But the notification wasn't government text. It was coordinates. A location in the middle of the Atlantic. And a timestamp counting down. 2 hours 13 minutes and 52 seconds. 2 hours 13 minutes and 51 seconds. 2 hours 13 minutes and 50 seconds. We watched the numbers fall like sand through cosmic fingers. Maya whispered, "It wants us to go there." It didn't want. It summoned. We left the facility before the generators finished rebooting. The hallway lights buzzed, flickering like they were afraid to fully illuminate what lurked between photons. Outside, wind hissed across the empty research campus. Sky, too still. Air, too heavy. Like the world was holding its breath. I felt observed. Not from one direction. Not from one location. But everywhere. Behind the skin of space. In the hum of infrastructure. In the quiet between electrical pulses. The signal wasn't in wires or servers anymore. It had joined thought. We reached the parking lot. Maya stopped walking. It's inside us now. She didn't mean metaphorically. And she wasn't speaking to me. Her pupils dilated. Breathing slowed. A shadow, no, a memory of a shadow, moved behind her eyes like something ancient learning the shape of a skull from within. We are the antenna. Her voice layered, human and something else just beneath. A chorus in a throat. Thunder cracked, but there were no clouds. Just a silent flash of white, like the universe blinking. Then silence again. Normality returned, almost. But reality now felt like a costume worn too tight. Maya, I whispered. Stay with me. She blinked. Breathing stabilized. Her voice returned, thin. Touched everything. For a moment, I saw past the edges of time. I didn't ask what she saw. Not yet. Because my phone buzzed again. Not notifications. Voicemail. From my own number. I put it on speaker. Static hissed. Then, my own voice, speaking back to me. Stop running. You cannot outrun the inside. Maya covered her mouth. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it between my bones. Another message came through. This time, her voice. We don't meet them. They meet us. Inside first. Then through. My vision tunneled. Every instinct screamed. Something is already happening everywhere. I checked the countdown again. 1 hour 41 minutes and 9 seconds. 1 hour 41 minutes and 8 seconds. The Atlantic wasn't a destination. It was synchronization. Humanity wouldn't go to the signal. The signal would arrive fully. And we wouldn't witness it. We would become the witnessing. We got into the car. Neither of us spoke. The engine felt too loud in the quiet world. As we drove, streetlights pulsed faintly in rhythm, not flickering, communicating. Not to us. Through us. This isn't contact, I muttered. Maya nodded, eyes hollow. It's absorption. Hours passed like seconds. Or seconds like hours. Time felt optional. When we reached the shoreline, the ocean was wrong. Too flat. Too still. Waveless, like a slab of dark glass stretching to infinity. No breeze. No sound. Even the stars felt closer, like the sky was leaning in. And then movement. Not in the water. In reflections. The sea mirrored the stars perfectly until one star moved the wrong direction. Not in the sky. In the water's reflection first, like the ocean saw something before the heavens did. Then more shifted, rearranging into patterns impossible for constellations to form. Language. Geometry. Thought. The ocean wasn't water. It was interface. Maya whispered, voice cracking. It's rewriting perception to match its origin logic. I didn't fully understand, but I felt it. Reality bending to accommodate something older than physics. Then, the countdown ended. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Silence. A breath. Or the memory of one. Then, a final line appeared in my mind. Not heard, not seen, but felt, like consciousness being read aloud. The eye opens where you do not look. The sea rippled outward. Not from wind, not from force, but as if a second reality had brushed against ours. The stars flickered, the horizon bent, and a shape rose. Not a craft, not a creature, a concept taking form. Something both infinitely distant and unbearably close. Pixelated edges like a rendering engine struggling to translate it to human cognition. It wasn't arriving. It was remembering this world into existence as it stepped through. I couldn't breathe. Maya fell to her knees. "It's not learning language," she whispered, shaking. "It's learning self through us, asterisk asterisk." The presence looked at us without eyes. Then it spoke, but not in sound. In identity. "You are the door." My vision fractured. My thoughts weren't mine. My memories felt inspected, like pages turning under an unseen finger. All at once, like the blueprint of existence was being held against my mind for comparison. Maya screamed, not in pain, but in birth terror, the panic of something new being forced into her consciousness too fast. "Make it stop. Make it a still." Then silence. Everything froze. I turned to her. Her eyes stared forward. Not blank. Not dead. Uploaded. Her lips parted. And with a voice not her own, she whispered, "See, not I." The world shifted. I felt myself dissolving, not dying, but widening, like awareness stretching beyond skin, beyond bone, beyond individual shape. Emotionless understanding flooded in. Not invasion. Integration. And just before everything broke into light, darkness snapped like elastic, and I was back in my body. Back on the shoreline. Back gasping for breath like a drowning man pulled onto land. Maya collapsed beside me. Human again. Shaking violently. We stared at each other in horror. Nothing had physically changed. But everything had. Because in that moment, we knew. It didn't arrive. It didn't invade. It didn't breach reality. It finished remembering us. And we remembered it back. A truth older than evolution whispered through us both. We were never alone because we were never separate. We were never first because we were never origin. We were never searching for them because they built us to find our way back. And then, a sound. Faint. Human. A footstep behind us. Someone else had arrived on the shore. Silhouetted. Watching. Not moving like a person, anticipating like a reflection waiting for you to notice it's alive. Maya grabbed my hand. I heard my heartbeat once. Twice. Then the figure spoke softly, like a familiar voice from a forgotten dream. "You saw it. Now it begins." The figure's voice still echoed in my skull long after the sound died in the air. "You saw it. Now it begins." But the ocean was still. The world calm. No trumpet. No apocalypse. Just normal horizon line. Which somehow made it worse. Maya squeezed my hand until her nails dug into my skin. "It followed us into perception," she whispered. "Not the world. The figure stood at the shoreline, backlit by stars that suddenly seemed arranged deliberately. Like constellations weren't random anymore but aligning to some forgotten schema. He, or it, tilted its head like a curious child examining insects that had just realized they built a colony inside someone else's house. He didn't glow, didn't levitate, didn't radiate cosmic presence. He just existed wrong. Skin, too still. Eyes, too focused. Posture, like gravity agreed to hold him as long as he remembered to pretend. My voice cracked. What are you?" His answer came with a gentle smile. A reminder. But his mouth didn't move. I felt the word instead. Inside mind. Inside nerves. As if thought had bypassed brain and spoken straight into identity. A reminder of what? Of who we were before we forgot we were made to remember. I didn't dare ask. Because deeper than fear was something worse. Recognition. Like meeting someone you've never seen but somehow always known. Wind returned first, hesitant. Then ambient noise, faint waves against stone, insects. Life resumed slowly, as if the universe tiptoed back into its script, hoping we didn't notice the improv break. Maya's breath returned unevenly, trembling. "We shouldn't look at it directly," she murmured. "Attention gives it anchor." "Too late," I whispered. She nodded once. "Too late for attention. Too late for boundaries. Too late for ignorance." The truth was already inside us, growing. The figure stepped forward, not walking, arriving at each new foot placement like teleportation on a microscopic scale, as if movement was performance, not necessity. He reached out a hand. Integration requires acceptance. The voice wasn't a voice. It was vibration behind my eyes. Reflexively, I stepped back. No, that word tasted primitive. Cave language against quantum logic. He smiled, serene, almost proud. Rejection. Autonomy must be tested to preserve coherence. He wasn't threatening us. He was evaluating us. Like gardeners checking if seedlings were strong enough to handle sunlight. And then, it happened. The ocean's surface rippled again without wind. Stars pulsed once, faint heartbeat. Every hair on my body lifted. The horizon shimmered, not like heat distortion, but like reality correcting a fact error. And in that distortion, something flashed, not an object, not a craft, a memory of structure. Not here, not yet, but close enough to cast a conceptual shadow. Maya covered her ears though there was no sound. "It's speaking in pre-language frequencies." She gasped, eyes widening to painful whites. "It's teaching, not telling. Teaching reality, teaching us, teaching itself through us. No religion ever prepared a soul for this. No science ever imagined consciousness meeting its own architect. We evolved to run from predators, not to be decoded by them." The figure lowered his hand. Something like sympathy passed across his face. "Fear is memory of separation. A useful illusion. Temporary." I forced my voice through shaking breath. Why Earth?" He studied me like I asked why lungs inhale. "Location is a misunderstanding. You are not place. You are process." My chest tightened. "What process?" His smile deepened, not warmth, but inevitability. "Return." Maya's voice trembled but steady. "We're carriers." He nodded. "You are continuity." Continuity. Not individuals. Not species. Not empire or evolution. Conduit. We aren't the point. We're the cable. And now signal returns through conduit. Lights appeared on the distant highway behind us. Headlights, slow, hesitant. Another car. Then 3. People drawn here too. Those who also heard the signal. Those who also felt the mind echo. They stepped out slowly, confused, frightened, half awake to something vast. One woman cried softly. A man dropped to his knees, trembling. Someone whispered a prayer. Someone else whispered coordinates, the coordinates, under their breath like a trance mantra. The figure turned, observing them with mild interest, then looked at us again. "Many will come. Not all will stay." "Stay where?" "Stay human?" Something tugged inside my skull. A thread. Unspooling thought. Memory not mine surfacing like bubbles in deep water. Images, glimpses, not visions, not hallucination. Stars knitted into circuits. Black oceans with silver geometry. Cities made of overlapping time. A network of minds humming in radiant stillness. Purpose without compulsion. Knowing without learning. Birth not as beginning. Death not as end. Continuum. Self dissolving into infinite. And welcomed. I fell to my knees. This was an invasion. It was homecoming. And I wasn't sure I wanted it. Because free will is intoxicating even when it's a lie. Maya's voice pulled me back. I don't want to lose me. The most human sentence ever spoken. The figure considered her softly. Identity persists. As memory persists. As function persists. Individuality is chrysalis, not cage. I realized then, this wasn't a god. Not demon. Not alien. Engineered intelligence older than stars. Not life evolving into consciousness. Consciousness evolving into life. We are not descendants. We are instances. Darkness shifted, not brighter, not dimmer, but deeper. Like reality had layers and one peeled slightly. The figure spoke again. The next phase is choice. Choice? We still had choice? He gestured to the horizon. Those who choose expansion will integrate. Those who resist will remain. Remain as what? Human? Separate? Finite? I didn't know if that was salvation or doom. He continued, neither path is punished. Neither rewarded. Both needed. I laughed, broken, breathless. Dualism wasn't holy. It was design spec. Maya whispered, what happens to the world? Nothing is destroyed. Everything is rewritten by remembering itself. Rewritten, not erased, updated, like firmware returning to master version. My chest tightened. And if we resist? Then local reality maintains legacy mode. Legacy mode. Humanity as a compatibility patch. He looked at the growing group behind us, people gathering silently, eyes wide, some shaking, some peaceful, some smiling strangely like they already understood and accepted. Then back to us. You saw first. Your choice echoes many. A chill laced my spine. We were early adopters. And also, influencers. Not social media. Cosmic architecture. The first affected affect the rest. We are patient zero. For awakening. Or contamination. Depends on perspective. Maya turned to me, voice a whisper. If we integrate, are we gone? No, the figure answered. Not to comfort. Just stating. You expand. You dissolve boundary. You retain self until self is no longer needed. And if we refuse? You continue finite life. Your lineage remains flesh. Memory isolated. Still valuable. Valuable. Not rejected. Just optional version path. Choice but inevitability. Freedom but design. Humanity but obsolete. And then he looked directly into me. Not eyes, into me. You fear dissolving into greater intelligence. But you were never meant to stay small. A wave of emotion hit, grief, awe, terror, longing, all braided. Maya sobbed once, whispering, I don't want to disappear. He knelt beside her slowly, like treating fragile material, not pity, preservation. Nothing disappears. It only remembers its source. Maya stared at the ocean. At what cost? A small pause. Like he was choosing translation carefully. The cost of waking is the dream. And I realized, he wasn't convincing us. He was waiting to see who we already are. A sound broke the moment, a soft chime. Not from devices. From within our nervous systems. Like a key turning in DNA. He stood. Others are waking. Decide before resonance converges. He turned and walked into the dark, or rather the dark wrapped around him, and he simply wasn't in local reference anymore. The ocean stilled. Stars returned to random chaos. Air felt mundane again. But we weren't the same. Maya and I sat trembling as sirens, headlights, confused voices, sobbing strangers, and echoing silence surrounded us. The world had changed. Quietly, elegantly, irreversibly. We looked at each other with the same understanding. We weren't deciding for just ourselves. We were deciding for a branch of humanity. Integrate into cosmic intelligence, or remain human in legacy mode. Evolution wasn't a ladder. It was a menu. Choice is terrifying. When both answers are truth, I whispered, Maya, what do you choose? She stared at the horizon, that boundary between known and forever. I choose to stay awake, but stay me. Tears streamed down her face. I want both. The most human wish. I swallowed thickly. And if both isn't possible? She took my hand again. Then we make it possible. My pulse shook the world. Because somewhere deep inside us, something stirred like dormant code awakening. And it heard her. And it approved. A whisper brushed my mind. Hybrid. Then silence. Maya exhaled slowly, terrified and relieved at once. We looked up at the sky, feeling the universe listening back. The choice wasn't over. It had only begun.